Hello, everyone. I'm Sandy Anastasi, psychic channel, intuitive astrologer, and soul coach. And I'm here with my editorial video blog. This one is for July of 2024. First off, folks, I would like to wish everyone a happy 4th of July. As we celebrate the birth of our nation here in the U.S., much of the world is celebrating the true beginning of summer and many positive changes along with it. We live in a time of transition and transformation, everyone. And as with all such things, there are growing pains, and we are certainly experiencing them. But for this time, right now, let's find joy in our hearts and look forward to whatever is to come with the certainty that it will bring the peace and prosperity that we've long been promised. I am looking forward this month to teaching my Kabbalah Pathworking class online once again. It begins on July 10th. The timing of this class is perfect this year because of the powerful and uplifting effect that it has on my students and also on myself as we walk the paths of the Tree of Life together. This year marks the 40th year that I've been teaching Kabbalah Pathworking and the 44th year since I taught my first class on the Kabbalah. I remember when I first developed this class, I was teaching psychic development, numerology, tarot, astrology, and a few other subjects that were in the metaphysical field. I felt a common thread tying them all together. It seemed that if I could find that common denominator, I would have the key to helping my students and myself open and develop abilities and a heightened consciousness that we were all looking for, and do it more quickly. I kept trying to follow themes from one field to another, and it would seem clear for a short time, but then I would lose the thread. I became frustrated. In my dreams, my guides kept showing me something called the Kabbalah. Up until then, I'd never heard of it. They said it would give me what I was looking for in my dreams. That's when they said that. And they said it would be giving me the common denominator where all of these metaphysical fields and more became one. So, of course, I began to look for books on the Kabbalah. Well, all the way back in 1980 or 1979, thereabouts, there were many books available on the Kabbalah. All were written by rabbis and Jewish scholars who were all deeply steeped in the Jewish religion, which I knew nothing about at the time. Most of those books were written in Hebrew. Obviously, I couldn't read or speak that. I picked up one, The Kabbalah Unveiled, which was a translation into the English from the original by MacGregor Mathers. But quickly I became disenchanted by the unending stories of angels at war with one another. Frankly, I couldn't see what that had to do with me and psychic development and expanding my consciousness and my senses into higher realms and connecting with my guides and my higher self. It didn't make sense to me. So I put it down. I decided that the Kabbalah wasn't for me. But my guides didn't give up. One day I was standing in a bookstore when a book literally fell off the shelf and it hit me in the head. I picked it up and I read the title. It was called The Mystical Kabbalah, and it was written by Dion Fortune. She was a mystic who wrote in the 1920s. And I read the book. I loved it. I recommend it. It was my introduction to the Western mystical Kabbalah. And at the time, it was the only book on that subject that was available. I read it. I liked it. I knew it was a step forward for me. But you see, it was still incomplete. I felt like I needed more. So my guides began teaching me in my dreams, literally teaching me. I'd fall asleep at night, and I'd wake up in a classroom that was filled with students. There might have been 100 or 150 other students sitting at desks in this giant classroom. On a raised stage in the front of the classroom was our teacher. Now, these astral classes went on for several months, and then we were done. Over the years, I've actually come across many books that were written by other students who were in that classroom with me, all learning the Western mystical Kabbalah in an easy-to-understand format, describing how spirit comes into matter, how our souls come here to earth to experience and live and grow and then evolve back into the world of spirit. I learned how we can use the Kabbalah as a roadmap to raise our consciousness, becoming conscious manifestors of our own reality. Today, there are many books across many traditions that give great insight into the Western mystical Kabbalah. It's a philosophy, not a religion. I don't believe it's a religion. It's a philosophy of life that no matter what your religion or your race or your gender might be, can give meaning to your life. Those books make this philosophy of life available to everyone. One rabbi I heard of on Long Island in New York, where I was living all those years ago, used the Tree of Life, which is another name for the Kabbalah, as a means to catalog, map out, and understand everything in our world. It was a totally non-religious approach, and it was fascinating. He could find where education belongs. He could find where governments belong. He could find where the physical stars belong. He could find where your mother belongs. All of these have their very specific spot, their place on the Tree of Life. It's a roadmap to life. So anyway, I had my tool then that could tie all of the things I was teaching together into a whole that made sense. But what to do with it? For several years, I taught the Kabbalah as a short course that basically explained creation in a simple, non-religious way. I still have that course available on audio only in my VIP membership area on my website. So if you're interested, just look me up. It's www.sandyanastasi.com. It's an easy to learn approach to the Kabbalah. But it still wasn't what I really wanted to deliver to my students. You see, without even mentioning God, we could find God using the roadmap that the Kabbalah provides. And not Sandy's God, not the God of Judaism or Christianity or Muslim or Hinduism or Buddhism, but God within yourself. The Kabbalah actually helps you to become that complete being, complete oneness within yourself. But how to do it? And that's when I discovered, again, with the help of my guides, path working. Simply put, path working is using guided visualization to achieve a result. Instructors use this tool in many ways, from helping students to work through a challenge, to helping them to learn about themselves. Any type of instruction can be enhanced by path working. So I worked with a group of my students to deeply research all aspects of the Tree of Life. The Tree of Life has tremendously important symbolism that speaks directly to your subconscious. All of the material in my paths that I created are based upon research. And the paths themselves are channeled by my guides and my students' guides. What we did is to set each of the 32 paths of wisdom to music and a guided visualization. And thus, my Kabbalah pathworking class was born. I had found a way to literally bring the Kabbalah to life behind our closed eyelids. We could walk each path as if we were watching a movie that we ourselves were the main character in. With each path, we gained insight, wisdom, and understanding. The paths build upon each other. We begin to see our experiences on the paths reflected in our waking lives. We begin to understand the energy that underpins the very world we live in. We begin to be aware of how we affect the world with our thoughts and our emotions. I have personally been through Kabbalah pathworking myself well over 100 times, and I still learn and grow every time I repeat each path. It's been a long time since I shared the story of how the Kabbalah pathworking class was developed and designed. I hope I haven't bored you with this history. I hope that perhaps I've given you some encouragement to come and experience it for yourself, or at least to put it on your radar, on your bucket list. I know that it can help all of us to transition to the new consciousness that we are all moving towards as our world goes through its shift. I'm Sandy Anastasi, and I want to thank you for staying and listening to the end. Have a wonderful July, no matter where you are on the planet. If you're here in the U.S., please have a happy 4th of July celebration as our nation celebrates its birth once again. And take my love with you. Visit me here online at www.sandyanastasi.com to find out more about my work, my teaching, my coaching, and my readings. Oh, and to sign up for my psychic hour that I do monthly for free, and to sign up for my newsletter so you can get all these wonderful thoughts every month in your inbox and you don't have to search for them anymore. Thank you so much. I'll see you again next month. Bye-bye.